Hi guys, and welcome to another video. In this video we're going to look at the Tozo S4 AcuFit watch. As I'm unboxing this, I might as well just tell you how much I paid for it, which wasn't very much at all. It's normally around £60 in England, and I managed to get it for about £29. So I'd invite you to hold out for a good deal as I did. It's worth waiting for the cheap deals to be able to get best bang for your buck. So as I'm undoing this, you're immediately faced with a wonderful little box. I love packaging, especially Apple packaging, and everyone else seems to be cottoning on to the fact that it's all part of the retail experience. The initial instructions are quite basic, as you can see, and also the packaging is also equally well laid out and nice and basic, very self-explanatory. As you can see, I've opted for the black version of this. There are other colours, as I'll show you later. It doesn't weigh very much, this little watch, either. I assumed it would be a lot heavier. It's in fact 137 grams. It's well made and is protected with a little tag. Let's have a look at the rest of this. This is obviously the charging cable. It's got an unusual diagram on the front, so it's obviously not just a standard USB fitment. We'll soon have a look as soon as I get my big fat fingers in here and have a little look. Okay, well, it's long on one end and USB standard on the other. That's quite odd. It's obviously some sort of weird magnet thing. Let's try this out and see what this feels like. Well, you can't put it on that way because it seems to repel. It fits that way. Well, that's pretty good. But, oh gosh, it comes off nice and easy. That's probably a good thing or a bad thing. We'll soon find out about that. Got a nice little manual box here. Let's have a little look inside here. Well, it's of nice quality, albeit very bent, very difficult to open. And I'm quite a strong guy, and even I'm struggling to open this, but anyway. It looks nice and clear to the initial impression of the eyes. Let's have a flip through and just see what else there is. Oh, it's quite clear inside. There's obviously a QR code you've got to scan for the app so you can actually use the device, but it looks pretty clear. It's alright. It's just a manual, isn't it? Okay, and last but not least, we have the straps box. Well, we'll take this out, have a little look. It does feel very light, that's for sure. I assumed it would be a little bit heavier than this, but obviously the box is heavier than the straps. Well, at least they feel nice and soft, so that's a good thing, especially if you're wearing it all day. It's got obviously normal sort of connectors, do look a little bit fiddly, but very flexible, very rubbery. Hopefully that'll be very comfortable wearing throughout the day. And also at night time, because this watch monitors your sleep pattern, so I'm interested to see what that's like too. But certainly very comfortable, very flexible, very rubbery. And that's that little connector. We'll see how we get that on. Well, it shouldn't be too bad. Okay, so I'll take that back. It is actually very fiddly to put on, but you've got to have some sort of weird technique. Don't put it in completely horizontally, as I've been trying to do. Put it in a slight angle to almost vertical. Slide it in as best you can, pushing one side in. You've got a little tag you have to move across to be able to actually get the other little bit of the bolt or nut fitted in the watch. It's simple, it's just fiddly. So, well, it's certainly a reminder to myself that I should have my wife with me at all times, because she would be able to do this literally in about a nanosecond. She has such fine motor skills and dexterity, much better than mine with things like this. And I wish she was there helping me. Anyway, it's just about sort of almost fitting it in place. Come on, it's that one little bit there. That's it. You can see how I slid that little arm down and just pings back into place. Well, it's there. It's worked. Thank goodness for that. And now to the other strap. The other excitement now continues as I try and wrestle with this. So quite obviously it's just a technique I need to sort myself out with. And let's see if we can work this out. Come on, John. Let's try and get this in there. Yep. Well, it seems to be fitting a bit easier. I've got more of an understanding of it. But you'll see what I mean when you come to fit it yourself. It's just a bit awkward, because you're trying to hold the watch whilst trying to move a little bit of metal down. Oh, there you go. It's all in place. Excellent. It is doable. And if I can do it, you can do it too. This indeed proves I've actually fitted it together. And now I'm going to take the tag off just so we can see the watch in all its splendour. Quite a nice looking little watch this. It's only 29 quid. Not very much at all. The quality seems pretty good too. Very robust. Very well finished. There's a lot of white stuff, but that's from the packaging, I think. So I'll obviously have to keep blowing that off and pushing it away. I'll be interested to see what it's like compared to the Omega Seamaster Pro I'm wearing now for thickness, because it's quite a thick little watch this. So we'll do this now, just have a little look. The Omega I have has a 44mm face, so it's the larger of the two faces that it's made in, and it's very comparable to that. And the thickness is also the same, but obviously the weight is massively different. The weight of this watch is 137 grams. But it's a nice finish. I actually think it's quite a nice looking sleek watch. It's so nondescript and yet cool looking. You don't notice it, but when you do, you think, oh, that's all right, I quite like that. There's a closer look at the strap there, and you can see as we follow it up towards the face how nice it looks. It's weird though how you attach the thing, because the end of the strap goes into that little hole there and sort of tucks underneath the strap itself, but it is very comfortable. It's very soft to the touch. I'm not sure how long this screen will last with normal daily use, but let's hope and keep our fingers crossed it will still look as nice as this in a few months or even a couple of years' time. I'm not buying as a long-term watch, but more of a just a grab and go sort of thing. It's got a lovely band around the outside that looks like it's made of aluminium. It's like gunmetal grey. The watch strap fits snugly to the face and doesn't have any broken lines, which is good with the ingress of dirt, etc. It looks really, really nice, and I hate to use the word nice a lot, but it does. I wouldn't say it looks amazing, but it's nice. It's good. The overall condition and feel of the watch is robust and yet light. Very flexible is the strap to the touch too. Quite peculiar, because you would imagine it feels quite rubbery, as in hard rubbery, but it's not. It's nice. It's a lovely feel to it. The multifunction bezel has a nice little gentle feel about it. It moves very easily though, so that might cause problems. Also, you can press it in as a separate function. Now to the charging. Let's have a go with that weird cable. I did notice that when I was playing with it earlier, it had sort of like a magnet feel to it. So I'll try and put it in this way and see how we get on. Nope, it's repelling the magnets, so it must be the other way around. It can only go one way, so that's a safety thing, I guess, for the watch and probably for yourself. That fits in snugly. Oh, well, it pops out easy enough, so probably not as snug as I thought. That's not such a good thing, really, because literally I put almost no pressure on that and it keeps popping off. As I'm going through the rigmarole of now trying to attach the charging cable, which should be the easiest thing in the world, I might as well go through the colours, and there's 4 different colours available to us. There's the rose gold, which actually looks quite pinky in colour. It's actually very pleasant to the eye. We've got the black, which of course is what I've got here. You've got the gold, which I guess is for the bling of you, but it doesn't look like a gold to me, but I'm only going by picture. And finally, we've got the silver, which is more of a grey, sort of dirty white colour. I'm sorry about the delay in me fitting this cable, but I've literally been wrestling with just trying to get the thing to stay magnetised to it. It did come with 67% charge, and I'm having to hold it very gingerly here. Okay, so at long last, whilst I've got this cable in position, I'm going to try and get the app installed whilst it's charging, and we're going to look at scanning the QR code. So I thought I'd do it on my iPad so you can get an idea of roughly how it works. I did notice on Amazon it says iOS and also Android, so we'll give it a whirl, see if it works. I'm just sort of tagging the screen here for the QR code. In order for me to go further with this, it's asking me to sign in to my Google Play account. My alarm bells were ringing at this stage, unfortunately, because it wasn't a seamless process. As normally when things are iOS friendly, you can just install things very quickly, very easy, with no effort, no signing in at all. Okay, I'm just going to have a quick look at the charge just before I go into the App Store to try it that way and see if that works. It took 12 minutes to get to 100%, even though it says 99 there, from the initial 67%. So here I am actually typing in Tozo and seeing what we get at the Apple Store. And if I scroll down here, you'll be able to see what you will be able to see as well. So it's Tozo Health 4, S3, S4, S6, 7 and 8. Obviously this is the S4. When it's installed, you get this health icon here. Now this looks better. And it's just a case of following the on-screen prompts and making sure your Bluetooth is switched on. If you have an Apple device, my advice to you is to go directly to the App Store. You'll find it a lot more seamless and a lot more convenient to be able to do it this way. It's faster and simpler, and it appears to work too. Much happier with this process. Don't follow the QR code. well, it's up to you. But if you want to try it and waste your time, good luck to you. But this is what it looks like when you're trying to pair with the watch. This is exactly what I've been seeing first time here. Just continue to follow the nice and clear screen prompts. It says pair the device, so I'm pressing that a few times. I'm not trying to press too hard, just testing the sensitivity. You've got to press it like you mean to, and it works. It says it's going to take a few seconds. Oh, well, it's worked. So it's nice and quick, and the screen looks lovely and clear too. How wonderful is that? And it's gone off. So let's have a little play with these settings, see if we can get things to stay on a bit longer. And I'm adjusting the brightness of the screen here too. You can do that with the app. You can not only do it in the watch, but you can do it on the app too. You can play with the customization of the screen, not only the brightness, but also the duration of which it stays on or goes off, and whether or not you lift it to wake or don't wake you as soon as you lift it up, if you know what I mean. So basically when you move your hand, the watch will go on, and if you switch that function off, it won't keep bothering you. So let's have a look at the other functions we got here. We can customize the actual face of it by selecting different ones. There's quite a few downloaded to their app, which you can go through. Literally a myriad of tons of them. I'm going to pick the bear one there because it looks nice and pleasant to the eye. And we're going to download that to the watch. You can only have one of these at any time, which is a bit frustrating. But you can also download your own photographs. So you've got a picture of your family or so forth, or a favourite pet, car, item, or whatever you can shake a stick at, then that's entirely up to you. But you can only have one of it. A little bit of a downside, as I would like to have loads of different ones. But hey-ho, you can't have everything. Now let's have a look at my little bear face and see what it looks like. Wow, nice and clear. Pretty quick too, so it only took about 20-30 seconds to download. How awesome is that? Okay, let's have a look at some of these slide functions. So it is touch screen, so all we're going to do is slide it to one way. And we've got heart rate here. I don't know how accurate that is, but we'll have a look at that later. We've got sleep monitor, so when you sleep you can see what your sleep cycles are. It deals with REM as well apparently. Let's slide through. We've got heart rate, activities, the amount of step counts you got. Well, obviously we've got 0 at the moment. We've got weather because it's attached to my iPad, so that's what the weather is. Need to change that to Celsius. And also we've got stress level. Not sure how that works. However, this is my nemesis that's come back to bite me. If you notice that I had to take the strap off because I had it the wrong way round. What a fool. Anyway, my own fault. Let's have another look at this little display. So we keep pressing it. We can keep sliding through the functions. We can press weather. It's got a nice direct feel to this too. And it's clear to the eye. Okay, let's have a little play through the watch and see what screens we've got. We've got the different ones to look at for showing you the time, date, and other pertinent information you might prefer. If we just go to the main menu, we've got a flashlight. That's a very useful little thing. Just tap. That is quite bright, but we'll test that later. Let's just have a quick little fiddle through some of the menu options, see what we've got here. So obviously we've got the usual sort of stuff. You can have on-screen data, on, off, activation time, lift, weight, gesture. You've got lots of different things here as you get with these sort of smart watches. It's just little ways of being able to customize this to suit your own needs. Obviously it's not as advanced as the more expensive ones, but for the price, I can't odds it at this stage. It seems pretty good. When you see the options to call or to play music, etc., that goes through the attached headphones that go to your device, but the watch controls it. Let's just have a little play at the stopwatch. That's another useful feature too. I can see myself using the flashlight, probably not the alarm, but the stopwatch definitely, and the weather. And just out of curiosity, probably look at my own personal data, like the amount of steps. If it's accurate, I don't know. We'll soon find that out. Okay, I have to come clean here. My wife had her watch first. I was so impressed with it. Look at that little face there. She had the rose gold and it looks beautiful. And I just had to have it. Fear of missing out, I'm afraid. But now we've got his and hers. The quality is pretty good, and I think you'd be very surprised about it, especially if you can pay only £29 for it. It looks good. They're nice looking watches. There's the two compared to each other there, but you can see they're different yet similar. Both nice, clean looking watches. I know I'm sounding a bit naff here, a bit of a his and hers thing, but it might be the incandescent light shining on the watch here, but it's actually quite a bright pink. It's actually quite lovely to look at. I'm trying to illustrate how cool these watches look side by side. They're actually quite lovely, and you'll finally be able to dress them up or down. I know they're cheap. We're not expecting wonders from the things. However, they are rain resistant, so it says. I've been in the rain, I've washed my hands with them on, and to be honest with you, there's been no issues at all. I think they look very smart. They're well finished and they look lovely. You can see the pink there. The rose pink is lovely, or rose gold as they call it. It looks fantastic. I guess you just got to ask yourself the question, why do you want a watch like this? Well, we want a watch just to tell the time, something a bit different from what you normally wear, and it works, and that appears to tick all the boxes. It's also got the gadget side of things too. So there's a bit of a his and hers screen. The screens don't flicker like this. It's because of the refresh rate on the camera equipment in relation to the incandescent light and the screen on the watches themselves. But it's nice and clear. There is a downside though, and it's that little bezel. You basically just move your hand around a little bit and sometimes the screen changes, but that's not a biggie. It just means you've got a different watch every now and again when you look at it. It's certainly by no means a deal breaker. The speaker on the actual device itself is useless, so make sure you get it paired with some headphones. However, there is one item that I've used more than I ever thought I would do, and that's the flashlight. So I'll just put this on again. I knew you saw it earlier. Doesn't look massively bright here, but if you turn the lights off in the room and then shine the same sort of areas I am now, it's quite a bit different, and it actually lights your way. It's ideal if you're going around your car or whatever, but you can see that it's actually quite efficient. It's quite good. It gives me a good metre to 2 metres of sort of clear unobstructed view. I quite like it. It doesn't help when I point it at the screen. Just tap it on and off. Wonderful. Great little feature that. Each screen gives you ever so slightly different information, from the amount of steps, heart rate, to weather, to whatever screen you want. However, this is one of the biggest findings I've had now with this watch. Now, always take professional medical advice. Don't rely on a gadget like this. As when I was looking at the step count from mine compared to my wife's, we were walking and in the exact same area as each other for pretty much the same amount of time as each other. And for example, mine's is 876. My wife's was saying something like 110 at the time, which I thought was very odd. The weather was the same as each other because they're paired with our devices. So that worked too. So we were quite happy with that. With regards to the other items, such as stress level monitor, we're not sure how that works because that just monitors your heart rate against your wrist. So I guess that's just predictive programming that does that. I wouldn't necessarily rely on that at all. But if we scroll to the other one, which is a sleep cycle, now that might be measurable. I'm not entirely sure. Again, I'm not a medical technological expert with things like this. But when we compared our data, we were pretty much a similar amount of numbers as each other. When one of us had less sleep, it was showing up less, and REM was different. That seemed a bit more measurable to us. The only thing I can say about all of this is that you've got to take it with a pinch of salt. The heart rate seems pretty much on the point with it. That was within about 1 or 2 from using a real medical device, and that seemed to work. I've been running around a bit, so it's showing 86, 87, 88. Now I'm getting anxious, don't know why. But if you take it off, you'll see how it does measure. It's with these little green sensor lights underneath the device itself. You don't see this when you're wearing a watch, but periodically, if you look underneath your wrist whilst you're doing something, you might see them flicker. But obviously, you're unaware of it. It's a very clear, nice little device. The sound sucks with regards to the actual onboard speaker. It has text messages. You can't text back out, but it gives you a rough idea of what someone's sending you. You can't read the images though. The charger sucks. So there's only 2 things that suck: the little speaker and the fact that the charging cable doesn't stay on. You have to really balance the device. I can't say it any other way. But as you can see, got other options on the screen, just very basic functions. That's all. It's enough to get you going, enough to prick your interest and to entertain you. And it gives you just the amount of information you need at any one time. It's a watch. Thank you very much if you've got this far by listening to me ramble on a little bit. If you like this or have any other suggestions of items you want me to review or to put up, then please put them in the comments below.